Who should actually consider the DeLonghi Rivelia automatic espresso machine? Who would be better off spending their coffee budget elsewhere? And does the price make sense for the everyday kitchen? Those are the three questions that keep most of us up at night when we stare at a shiny new espresso machine on a retail page. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The hesitation usually isn't about whether the machine can make a decent latte. Most of us can find a recipe online, but about the hidden trade-offs that only surface after a few weeks on the countertop. How much space does the whole unit need? How often will you actually use the built-in grinder versus grinding beans beforehand? And whether the automatic milk frother will truly replace a separate milk steamer for your daily ritual. Let's start with the category itself. An automatic espresso machine that also grinds and froths is essentially an all-in-one coffee station. In a typical home setting, that promises two main benefits: convenience, one button, one process, and consistency. The machine handles dose, temp, temperature, and milk texture for you. The downside is that every extra function adds complexity, and the more moving parts you have, the more often something can go wrong. With the Rivelia, DeLonghi has tried to simplify the learning curve by adding step-by-step guidance on the display, but the real test is whether that guidance translates into a smooth morning routine or just a series of prompts you learn to ignore. Who should buy it? If you are a coffee lover who already knows the basics of espresso, knows what a good crema looks like, prefers a consistent dose, and enjoys experimenting with different bean origins, then the Rivelia could be a genuine time saver. Imagine you're a busy professional who wants a cafe-quality latte before heading into a Zoom call. You pop in fresh beans, press the cappuccino button, and within a minute you have a drink that rivals your favorite coffee shop. The two removable bean hoppers are handy if you like swapping between a dark roast for straight espresso and a lighter blend for milk-based drinks without having to empty the hopper each time. That kind of flexibility is something you rarely find in cheaper, single-function machines. On the other side of the spectrum, if you are a casual drinker who only has an espresso once or twice a week, or if you already own a dedicated grinder and a separate steam wand, the Rivelia's all-in-one proposition becomes less compelling. The machine's footprint is roughly the size of a standard refrigerator door, and it demands a dedicated spot on your kitchen counter. For a small apartment or a shared living space, that could be a deal-breaker. Also, the automatic milk frother, while sleek, does not offer the same level of control that a manual steam wand provides. You can't fine-tune the texture beyond the preset frother steam modes. If you enjoy the tactile experience of pulling a shot and manually steaming milk, you'll likely feel constrained. Now, let's talk practicality. The first thing you'll notice when you plug the Rivelia in is the clear, intuitive interface that walks you through each step. Select bean type, choose your drink, and watch the machine do the heavy lifting. In real-world terms, that means you'll spend less time fiddling with grind settings and more time actually drinking coffee. The built-in grinder is a solid mid-range burst system. It produces a consistent grind for both espresso and filter coffee, which is a boon if you like switching drinks throughout the day. However, the grinder is not the most powerful on the market. Some users have reported that when grinding very fresh, oily beans, the hopper can clog after a few dozen doses, requiring a quick tap to dislodge stuck grounds. It's not a catastrophic failure, but it does add a maintenance step you might not expect from a set-and-forget machine. The milk frother is where the Rivelia shines for the average household. The automatic system creates a velvety foam in under a minute, and because it's integrated, you don't have to worry about steaming milk with a separate pitcher. In practical terms, this translates to a reliable cappuccino for your kids when they're staying home from school, or a quick oat milk latte for a spouse who prefers non-dairy alternatives. The only caveat is that the frother works best with whole milk. The foam becomes thinner with low-fat or plant-based milks, and you may need to adjust the temperature settings manually to avoid overheating. If you're a vegan or love experimenting with almond, soy, and oat milks, you'll want to spend a few minutes testing the best combination for your taste. Another hidden trade-off is water tank size. The Rivelia holds about a liter of water, which is enough for 3 to 4 drinks before you need to refill. If you're the type who makes multiple coffees for a small gathering, you'll find yourself refilling the tank more often than you'd like. The tank's transparent design does help you keep an eye on the level, but it also means you'll be refilling it in the middle of a busy morning, a small interruption.